Hello, this is Henry Kramer, 605 Chaser, coming to you from the studio. We're going to take a look, deep dive into the severe weather risk that we have out west. This is expected to be for June 27th. As you can see, the scroll at the bottom there, we do anticipate to have storms fire up sometime after 4 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. So let's take a look and see what we have here. So this slight risk is in the yellow, and the marginal risk is the darker shaded green. And then we do also want to mention what we have as far as risks for, now this is day 2, which would be considered tomorrow, June 27th. This is the area that we have the greatest concern for the tornado risk. As you can see, it's quite a large area. Don't pay any attention to these. This is a weather model outlook. We'll take that off there here in a moment. But that is the potential area for the tornado risk. I do expect actually for areas, let me turn on my drawer here. I do actually expect this area here to get elevated to a 5% risk. So any one of those areas, that would be a higher risk for the tornado. This is not anything from SPC. This is just my outlook, if you will, based on my knowledge of what the trends are showing. All right, so let's take a look at the hail and wind threat. Here's the wind threat. There is a hatched area. As you can see, this area here in the hatched area is up to Dickinson, Williston, Rapid City, and then hatched area, basically what that means is it's a greater risk, and then still a high risk here, as well as the brown shaded area. That is a risk, but it's a lower risk for that wind threat. If we take a look at the hail threat, the areas that are the significant higher population areas would be Rapid City, Dickinson, North Dakota, Williston, North Dakota, Spearfish, Miles City, Montana. A lot of those areas could likely see that greatest threat for the 2-inch or larger hail. Let's take a look now. I will shut off the outlook here. Let's take a look at day 1. As you can see, calmer type storm in the western panhandle of Nebraska. However, there's some conditional things that have to factor in here for areas to the west of Grand Island, if things can get going. So this would be like Sidney, Sterling, Fort Morgan. This is for today's outlook. If we do take a look at the tornado outlook for that area, there is no tornado risk, pretty much nothing. However, if things can break through the cap, then that'd be a different story. There is that risk for the wind. As you can see, that same area. And then we do also have hail risk. That is again in that same area, generally speaking, to the east of Denver. All right, so that is your outlook as far as the severe potentials. Let's take a look quick and show you now the NAM 3K model. This was updated at 2 a.m., so this is a little older, but we do have, nonetheless, showing the showers and thunderstorms continuing to trek off as they did in Omaha. And we do have a few pop-up showers north of Sioux Falls that happened this morning, and that was very minimal, non-severe, obviously. But as we continue to trek through the day today, this is what we're expecting to have happen. As you can see here, this is when we expect things to happen. If any of you are traveling out west in the Wyoming and Colorado areas, sometime after 8 p.m. is when they expect to, based on this model, expect things to get more numerous, and then entering into western Nebraska, and even Rapid City has a slight chance of a few rumbles of thunder, but nothing expected to be severe, as the cap will be pretty great there and will be difficult for it to break through. And then 2 a.m. we do see a few pop-up showers coming through to the southwest of Pierre and south central South Dakota in the overnight. And then 8 a.m., 9 a.m. We look at a few more showers that are north of Pierre. Again, not expecting them to be severe level. Then 6 p.m. on the 27th, this is based on Central Time, 6 p.m. on the 27th, that's when things really start ramping up. As you can see, Rapid City, if we zoom in a little bit further there, you'll be able to see Rapid City's under the gun around 7 p.m. based on this weather model. And then it's, got a few larger cells here, extreme northwestern part of Nebraska. And then continuing to trek off to the east over by Valentine. As you can see, a lot of those storms are feeding off the great moisture levels that are in the Nebraska area, and so it's just continuing to trek off to an east-southeast direction, and eventually on the 28th, obviously morning rumbles of thunder over in the Omaha area, and that's one look at it. Let's take a look at a shorter range model and just look at what we expect here today, just based off of the HRRR weather model. Just bear in mind this isn't fully updated yet, but it will give us an idea by the evening of today, just for a comparison for those that are coming through I-76 and I-80 areas. As you can see, 8 p.m. things get really going down in Fort Collins, Fort Morgan, Denver areas, and we continue to see some of those showers in the northwestern portion of Nebraska into the overnights. 27th, we see those storms in the middle of the night there, but don't expect those to be severe, primarily because of the fact that, again, the cap is going to be there, and then it just kind of breaks up, as you can tell there, in the morning. And then by 1 p.m. it looks like 2 p.m. is the farthest out that I can get on this HRRR. This is a short range weather model. Let's take a look at a few other factors here. We want to take a look at the moisture levels and take a look at that so that we can see how much moisture it has working with. As you can see, around 2 p.m. lots of fuel right there if we're looking at June 27th HRRR weather model. So it's got lots of fuel to build. Let's take a look in order to see what the surface-based SIN, that would be the levels of surface-based CAPE. Which would be the cap. So anything that's above a -10 or greater, so this -50 indicates a strong cap there, and even stronger cap here, and we're showing less of a cap here. So this would be probably around 2 p.m. where storms try to figure out how to get together, and even some of these areas over here. However, the other thing that it's going to have to factor in would be the CAPE, surface-based CAPE, around that same time frame. We wait for this to adjust. Low CAPE around 2 p.m. I mean, not extremely low, but again, these areas here would be where I would expect things to kind of blow up or start blowing up. But may get hindered because of the fact that there's not enough CAPE there. So let's take a look at the significant tornado parameters. This is in no way, shape, or form indication that there's going to be a tornado, but it is a measurement nonetheless that I would like to show y'all. So when we're looking at significant tornado parameters, we look for something that is 2 or greater, and this is why there is that low risk, but it begins to gain. Let's take a look at NAM 3K, that farther out model, and take a look at the same time frame here. As you can tell, here's some areas that get to the 2, that's significant tornado parameter around 7 p.m. So the storms become more numerous and are able to build. Areas that are to the southwest of Dickinson area certainly would be an area of concern. And even on Highway 20, we do have those as well. So let's, before we get too wrapped up into our technological, let's take a look at quick precip. What's expected between now and 9 p.m. What we're expecting this area to get close to close to 5 inches of rain. That is a significant amount. That's by 9 p.m. 4 inches of rain there, and obviously this total was as of 2 a.m. till 9 p.m. So some of this has already fallen. Just bear with me while I go back to an HRRR weather model to give a better idea of what the total precipitation is over the course of today. Alright, so if we take a look here, as of 6 p.m., obviously way less, and then some showers up here, but generally maybe a half an inch to 3/4 of an inch in the Yankton Vermilion areas. That's through 6 p.m. Tomorrow. And so the areas that are expected to have higher amounts would be where we expect those thunderstorms to kind of try to develop. But they really won't develop until after 4 p.m. Mountain Time. So that is why this is pretty minimal. We could take a look at quick temperatures that we're expecting here. So temperature outlook as of 6 p.m. on the 27th, still going to be 90s, lots of heat. And then out to the east in Sioux Falls area, we expect low 70s, upper 60s in that area, but lots of heat out west. If we put this into, take the this number off here. Apologize, the weather model is going through an update here. Alright, so as you can see, the darker shades are the higher temperatures, and once we get into that gray area, that ends up being, this of course is overnight. And just hold on there, and then you can see some of the temperatures that is expected at around 11 p.m. This is based on the HRRR weather model. So overnight, still want to probably end up having that air conditioner going, unfortunately. And as we get into, let's take a look, 4 p.m. Yep, there's those temperatures, upper 90s, dew points likely in the triple digits out west, and then we'll probably see quite a bit of moisture coming up into the Sioux Falls area, so the 69.5 that is projecting is not going to be the real field temperature. But goodness gracious, lots of heat still. I am hoping that this heat will end for a little while at least. Indications are that heat will reprieve after the storms go through on Thursday. It will be short-lived, unfortunately, so temperatures next week will bounce back after a milder weekend or a less heat for the weekend. Things are shaping up really good for this weekend to as far as weather-wise. So we'll have more to come on that, but that's the latest information that we have. God bless you all. Stay safe.